Hey there, y'all. Just wanted to jump in here real quick. It's Wednesday afternoon. I hope you are doing well. I had an interesting, great call with a friend and a client. We were talking about business. We were talking about money. We were talking about wealth and all that. So do me a favor. Say hello when you're jumping in. Say hello. Let me know you're here. Let me know that you're out there, where you're coming in from. So it was an interesting conversation that revolved around this whole idea of wealth building. It was this whole idea of how do we build wealth where it belongs. So good to have you here. And business. And, what am I seeing out there with respect to struggles in business? What are the challenges? Is this iOS update? Because let's face it, here's the thing. And, I talk about business and I talk about money. I talk about wealth building, I talk about financial liberation. That's what the Affluent Entrepreneur Show is about. If you haven't checked out this week's episode number 10, was talking about how do you generate and scale your income. Here's the thing. If we can understand how to scale our income, how to find additional income, to generate additional income, we have the ability to build wealth. This is not about having to hit windfalls, and we don't have to hit it out of the park. We don't have to hit, $1 million years. We just got to hit a lot of singles and doubles and do the right thing. It's truly about what we do with the resources, what we do with the rewards, what we do with it that matters. And so this question kind of came up about the idea of what's going on in business today. What's going on? People are having trouble with their Facebook ads, or it's more of a struggle. And I'm going to do a full episode on this, but here's the thing. I think too often as entrepreneurs, we buy into this whole aspect of what are actually tactics and think that they're a business. And now this is going to rub some people the wrong way possibly, but hey, it's me. I'm good with that. All right. So here's what I mean. Facebook ads is a tactic. Okay. The fundamentals of business are the fundamentals of business. Okay. The fundamentals, if you read the fundamentals of business, and they're fundamentals for a reason, the principles are principles for a reason. Principles are universal truths. Principles are systems of behavior. Principles are those things that do not change over time. And all of our business should be built on principles. Sound marketing, sound operations, sound growth, sound money principles. Our wealth should be based on principles. Why do people get hurt? Because they're not using principles as a foundation for their decisions to make investments, to make business decisions, and do the things that they want to do. And that what they're doing is they're getting caught up in the emotions of things. It's why things like GameStop happen. That it runs up and then people get absolutely destroyed when it comes back down. My question for you is your money game or your business game, is it all based on principles? Or is it based on tactics? See, principles are universal. Tactics are not. Tactics will change. I sit on a number of boards of directors. I'm sitting on a company right now. And, one of the things that happened because of where we're at in the business is we lost a lot. I mean, we lost, if I do the math correctly, 25% of our revenue. Now, we're okay. We're fine. We're sitting on $55, $60 million in cash. We're doing fine. But point being is that we have sound principles. And when the market shifts, now the market's going to shift, and everyone's complaining and they're screaming because iOS 14 and all the things that were going on with Apple, and now Facebook ads are all wigged out and they're not as productive as they probably once were. Here's my thing. Are you building your business and your wealth on someone else's platform? Are you looking at it and saying that Facebook ads is the that you're using? See, to me, that's a choke point for your business. That's a choke point for your wealth. That's a choke point for making money and building financial freedom. See, if we become highly dependent on a tactic, and when that tactic goes out of favor, when that tactic doesn't work anymore, when they change the rules of that tactic, then where are you? This is why we want to build our business on sound principles. For instance, look, let's face it. A business requires a couple things. It requires traffic. It requires a way to convert that traffic into leads, in other words, prospects. Now, this doesn't matter whether it's online or offline. We still need that. Then it requires a process to take those leads or prospects and convert them into customers. And then it requires a process to take those customers and elevate them, escalate them, and keep them and convert them to raving fans. Principles. Where's your traffic coming from? How are you converting them to leads? How are you converting them to customers? And how are you converting them to raging fans? Okay? Raging fans. That's what we need to look at. So whether they change Facebook ads or whether they change the principles, the money principles, the business principles, they transcend time. The same investment principles that I used 30 years ago when I first started, I use today. They're the same principles I teach in my program, The Affluence Blueprint. They're the same principles that my son has used to build his financial freedom. They're the same things. They don't change. Now, do the investments change? Sure. Are there trends? Absolutely. But don't confuse trends, don't confuse tactics with sound business principles. Here's another one. Here's another one that I think that's really important for us to understand. And that your customers are truly looking for. I'm not talking about some avatar exercise and all that stuff. So intimately, their pain, their problems, their fears, that when you speak to them, they think that you're in their heart and soul and in their head. This is what I call understanding your niche or niche, depending on where you're from. I mean, we can call it whatever it is, niche or niche. But here's the thing. The key, one of the basic core principles of business is to make sure that you're speaking the right words into the right ears at the right time in the right way. And when you do that, you don't have to yell. You can whisper. Because you've identified who your core customer is. You've identified how you serve them. You've identified the problems you solve. And if you're not getting sales, if you're not getting profits, if you're not elevating the value in the marketplace, you might have an issue with making sure that you aren't using the right words at the right time in the right ears. You may not be in a situation where you're speaking directly to your customers. I'll give you, for instance, if it's hard for your customers to listen to you, to communicate, they're not going to listen. In 2009, I was in a bike wreck, okay? I was riding down a hill, okay, on a mountain bike. Now, I was on the asphalt. I was riding to the gym, so that meant that I was actually wearing tennis shoes. I was not wearing bike shoes because I was going to work out. So I was lazy. I didn't want to carry the tennis shoes. I put them on, and I'm riding down the hill, and I'm riding as fast as I can because I'm going to go down the hill and there's an uphill on the other side. And so I wanted to get the speed and coast up the uphill. All right. And so I'm probably riding 25 to 30 miles an hour, flying down the hill. And one of my shoelaces get caught in the chain. And evidently I clipped the front brake. And when I clipped the front brake, I flipped the bike. It came down on my head. I was out cold on the concrete, on the asphalt. In the process of this, I wake up, I have no feeling on the right side of my body, and I can't speak. I'm stuttering. I mean, I'm stuttering so bad, it was so hard to listen to me. It was so hard to understand me. So the people that would come to see me, it was really hard for me to communicate. Now think about that, okay? Think about that for a moment, is that if you're out there in the marketplace and you're not communicating well to your customers, your potential prospects, the people you want to serve, you're not speaking their language, and they're having a hard time, you think they're going to buy from you? It's no different than me trying to communicate while stuttering and people are going, I have no idea what Mel just said. Okay? Now, granted, I'm normal now. I mean, it took 6 months or so for me to go through rehab and all that stuff, get the feeling back and all that stuff. I'm as normal could be. I mean, if you ask my wife, she might have a different opinion. But I'm normal and everything. But the question really is about, are you communicating effectively to your market, to your audience? Do you know your niche? Now, here's the thing. I want to solve this for you. You've probably seen, if you're on my list, you've probably seen some of my emails. Here's the thing. I'm doing a training. Actually, I'm not doing the training. A good friend of mine, James Wedmore, is doing the training. But I'm going to be part of it. I'm going to be teaching something that I don't teach very often, but it is something that I'm known for. It's something called the Value Articulator Statement. It's how do we articulate what we do in a distinct way that allows us to stand out in the marketplace. And he's got a Nail Your Niche two-day live workshop that he's doing. Normally it's $300. Now he's doing it for $100, but it goes away tonight. So here's the thing that I want you to do. I want you to join me on this. I want us to get this dialed in so you speak directly to the heart and soul of your customers and you can communicate with them and to the point where they're saying, I want what they've got. I want what they've got. Because when we solve that, all of a sudden we start to get sales in. When we have sales in, we optimize the profits, we start to build wealth, and we give you your freedom back. That's the game. That's what we want to do. But let's make sure that you've got your sales value in. $97. Come on. All right. And he gives you this crazy good guarantee. So you've got nothing to lose in the process. But if you're not getting sales like you want, if you're not having the profits that you want, if you're not getting the engagement you want, maybe it's a niche problem. Maybe it's a messaging problem. Let's get that fixed. So go to melabraham.com/NYN for Nail Your Niche. Facebook, you can see that on the screen. Instagram is in the bio. Go there. It goes away tonight. Okay? Join James. Join me. Let's get your message dialed in. Let's start bringing your profits. Let's start building some things. And let's start using those profits to build your wealth so you can be financially independent. I'd say financial independence, it's a birthright. We just got to understand how to go claim it. So let's go claim it and let's do it together. You're not alone. All right. So join me at melabraham.com/NYN for Nail Your Niche or niche, however you want to say it. And I'll see you there. Tomorrow, we start. See you there. Cheers.